In the late 1990s, a woman named Claire moved into an old apartment building in Chicago. The building had been constructed in the early 1900s, and while it had been renovated several times, its age was evident in the creaky floors and outdated fixtures. Claire loved its vintage charm and the affordable rent. One day, while chatting with her elderly neighbor, Mrs. Langley, Claire learned something unsettling. The building originally had 14 apartments, but now there were only 13. One of the apartments, Unit 7, had been sealed off decades ago. When Claire asked why, Mrs. Langley simply said, "It's better that way." Curiosity gnawed Claire. She started asking other tenants about Unit 7. Most shrugged her off, but a younger tenant mentioned hearing strange noises coming from the wall where the unit supposedly was, scratching, faint whispers, even the sound of furniture being dragged. Determined to find out more, Claire visited the city archives. She discovered that in 1952, a man named Harold Grayson lived in Unit 7. Harold was a reclusive artist who rarely left his apartment. One night, his neighbors reported hearing him scream, followed by a loud crash. When the police arrived, they found the apartment completely empty, no furniture, no art supplies, and no Harold. The windows were locked from the inside, and there was no sign of forced entry. Harold was never seen again. Claire became obsessed. She started investigating the wall where Unit 7 should have been. One night, armed with a hammer, she decided to chip away at the plaster. Behind it, she found a door. The door was covered in deep scratches, as if someone, or something, had tried desperately to claw their way out. Despite every instinct telling her not to, Claire opened it. Inside was a small, dark room with walls covered in strange, childlike drawings. Stick figures with distorted faces surrounded a central figure, a tall, shadowy shape with unnaturally long arms. On the floor was a single chair facing the wall, and carved into the wood were the words, "IT never left." As Claire stepped inside, she heard the door slam shut behind her. The light from her flashlight flickered and died, plunging her into darkness. Her neighbors found her the next morning, curled up outside her apartment, muttering incoherently. She refused to speak about what happened, but she moved out the following day. To this day, the building remains standing, and Unit 7 is still sealed. Tenants occasionally report hearing noises from behind the wall, but no one dares investigate. They all agree on one thing: whatever happened to Harold Grayson and Claire is better left alone.